There's a place nestled deep in the Ozark Mountains of Missouri, Whispering Pines. It doesn't appear on maps. The government erased it decades ago. All that remains are rumors, clawing their way through tavern talk and late-night radio shows. Locals in nearby towns won't speak its name after sundown, because they know something lives there. On new moon nights, between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m., the woods fall into a silence that feels stitched shut. Birds plummet from the sky, hundreds of them, raining death like black confetti. No cries, no gunshots, just stillness, and the dull thud of tiny bodies hitting the earth. No one who enters Whispering Pines after dark comes back the same, and it all began with a girl named Lena Whitmore. 10 years ago, Lena lived in Whispering Pines with her parents. She was 17, brilliant, quiet, her beauty unsettling, skin pale as frost, copper hair that shimmered like dying embers, and eyes the color of stormlight. People called her the Porcelain Girl, but beauty doesn't protect you from monsters. One bitter October evening, as dusk swallowed the trees, 4 men, local hunters twisted by cruelty and craving, followed Lena as she walked home alone from school. They dragged her into an old ranger's cabin, long abandoned and rotting with secrets. For 4 nights, the cabin echoed with her screams. On the 5th morning, the forest went silent, and Lena's heart stopped beating. Her killers didn't bury her. They doused the cabin in gasoline, set her body ablaze, and vanished into the trees like shadows. No one in the town asked questions. They all knew, and they all stayed silent. But Lena didn't stay gone. That very night, the 4 men were found, mutilated beyond recognition, their bodies twisted like snapped branches, tongues torn out, and eyes missing. Then came the hauntings. Residents saw a pale girl drift through the woods, her face hollow, her mouth open in a soundless scream. Homes bled from their walls, pets vanished, whispers filled the night air, chanting one name over and over. Lena. Desperate, the town called in Father Ezekiel, a war-scarred preacher with roots in southern hoodoo and scripture deeper than blood. He entered the cabin alone and emerged with a single object, a rusted iron spike engraved with symbols not of this world. He drove it into the cabin's beam. The spirit sleeps, he warned, but her rage is only resting. Disturb this place, and the dead will dance again. 10 years later, Miles Granger and Chris Rowe, 2 off-duty National Guardsmen from St. Louis, were road tripping through the Ozarks when their truck stalled on a fog-slicked trail, right in front of a weathered wooden sign, Whispering Pines, Pop. Miles stepped out, glancing around at the moss-covered ruins of a forgotten town. Creepy, he muttered, reaching for his flashlight. Let's check for shelter. Chris frowned. This place feels wrong. A frail, old man emerged from the trees behind them, dragging a crooked leg and muttering to himself. His milky eyes darted to the crumbling cabin beyond the path. You shouldn't be here, he rasped. She's listening. And just like that, he vanished into the woods. Chris wanted to leave. Miles didn't. Come on, it's just a story. A roof's a roof. They stepped inside. The air was thick and damp. Black mold veined the walls. The floor creaked with every step, like bones shifting beneath wood. In the corner, still embedded in a central beam, was the iron spike. Miles, tossing his duffel bag onto a hook, dislodged it without noticing. The spike hit the floor with a metallic clink. Sorry for the interruption. If you're still watching, please hit that subscribe button below. So, let's continue the video. The cabin exhaled, and the temperature dropped 10 degrees in an instant. At 3:13 a.m., Chris woke to the sound of a girl weeping. low, guttural sobs echoing like a forgotten lullaby. He sat up. There she was, floating near the ceiling. Her hair was wet and matted, her dress charred, her face burned, half beautiful, half melted into something that shouldn't exist. Her eyes were bottomless. "You let them hurt me," she whispered. "Now feel what I felt." Chris tried to scream, but blood filled his mouth. He collapsed. Miles was flung across the room like a rag doll, slam, against the far wall. Lights exploded, shadows twisted like vines. The forest howled outside, wind screaming in a voice not human. Dead birds hammered the roof. They ran, through the trees, through thorns that reached for them like fingers, guided only by the dim glow of a crescent blade of moonlight. Ahead, they saw an ancient chapel, cracked with time, yet untouched by weather. The doors were open, light pouring from within. They stumbled inside, breathless. Waiting at the altar stood a woman in a black veil, Sister Miriam, last of the Whispering Pines order. She didn't flinch. "You brought her back," she said. Miles knelt, trembling. "How do we stop it?" "You don't stop her," Miriam said. "You set her free." Back in the cabin, beneath burnt floorboards and ash, they found her bones, still wrapped in melted fabric, her high school name tag fused to her ribs. Miriam blessed a silver urn and a vial of river water, blessed under blood moon. "Cleanse her, speak her name, return her to the stream," she said. As Chris poured the water, Lena appeared behind him. But she didn't attack. She watched. For the first time in 10 years, she blinked. Her charred lips trembled, and she vanished. They carried her ashes to the river, where she once played as a child, and released them into the current. For a long time, nothing moved. Then the trees swayed gently. The birds returned, and a soft voice whispered in the wind, "I remember the light." The cabin collapsed weeks later. The town of Whispering Pines faded again into legend, but hikers who stray too far into the Ozarks sometimes find a single iron nail half buried in the dirt, warm to the touch, humming softly. And some say, on certain moonless nights, you can still hear her sobbing, not in rage anymore, but in sorrow. Still watching, but not subscribed. A lot of effort goes into making these videos. When you subscribe and share, it keeps me motivated to create more. So please, make sure to subscribe.